All right. So, number one here, we need to use matrices for both of these, 1 and 2. Let's go ahead and do 2, just because it's got a little twist. What was number 1? 1, 2, 3, wasn't it? Okay. So this answer was 1, 2, 3. But let's go through the process on number 2. All right, so we're going to have an A matrix that's going to be a 3 by 3, and we just use the coefficients. So the top row is 1, 1, 1. The middle row is 3, 2, -1. And the bottom row is 3, -1, 0. There's no Z, so wherever there's a missing letter variable, put a 0 in that spot and put it where it should go. Line everything up. Okay, so the X's should be all lined up, the Y's, and then the Z's. Some kids will put 0 for Z, but they put it in the front. Okay, put it where it goes. Z's in the back, right? All right. Your B matrix then is a 3 by 1, and these numbers on the other side of the equal sign are constants, 2, -1, 4. Okay. Now, what you got to remember when you put it in your, you put all that in your calculator, but then when you try to find the answer, you have to type in A inverse B. Sometimes we forget the inverse part. Oops, didn't want that to happen. All right. So that's what you type. Don't put AB, but A inverse B, and it'll give you the answer, okay? So going through it, all right, the matrix button is the inverse button, but you got to hit second first. All right, so hit second inverse right under math, and that gets you to that screen, and you want to edit. You want to put new numbers in. So I hit the left arrow key once, and I hit enter, and then I need a 3 by 3. All right, and then it goes across the rows. So the numbers you put in go to the right, and then it'll jump down. So 1, enter, 1, enter, 1, enter. Goes across the row, and then 3, 2, -1, and then 3, -1, and 0. So I always check to make sure I got my signs right and the right numbers, because sometimes we go fast and make a mistake. So I got those 3 right. Then you have to jump out of there. So you hit second mode. That's for quit. And then you jump back in. Second inverse for matrix. Edit. But now we're editing the B matrix. So I hit 2, or you can hit the arrow key down once. And again, it's a 3 by 1. So make sure your dimensions are right. And then I'm going to put that 2, -1, and 4 in. 2, enter, -1, enter, 4, enter. All right, jump out, second mode for quit. All right, now I'm going to put that A inverse B in, okay? So I go second inverse for the matrix, and just hit enter, and then the A will pop up, what you want. Then hit that inverse button, so that -1 shows up. And then second matrix, and hit the number 2 for the B matrix, and then hit enter, and that gives us our answer. Okay, the top number is our X, the middle number is our Y, the bottom number is our Z. So the answer to number 2 is 1, -1, 2. Oh, did it again to me. Things moving. All right, does that help, Ryan? Everybody else good on their calculator? All right, so to do those 2 tomorrow using the calculator, okay? All right, we'll go over 1 by hand again here at the end, because I'll give you a bonus problem tomorrow that you can do by hand if you want to do it. You don't have to do it, but chance to get some bonus points, some summative bonus points. All right. Any questions? All right. So number 3 is just an inequality, a linear inequality. So we have to graph this line, and then we got to shade which side of the line works, which points work on for this inequality. All right, so I already got the y part by itself. So that's the first step, to get y by itself when you want to graph. So you can put these in your calculator too if you want. Hit your y equals button. I'm just going to do it by hand. When it's in this form, you should be able to graph it. Okay? It's in slope-intercept form. It's in y equals mx plus b form. All right, so the b number, that's called the y-intercept. So the 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is where my line will cross that y-axis. And then this m, this -4, I always write it as a fraction if it's a whole number. 4/1. That's my slope. So -4 means I'm going to go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I go up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just go left 1. One of those has to be negative for negative slope. Remember, negative slope goes down left to right. If it's a positive slope, it goes up from left to right. You guys know that, right? So look at the inequality symbol. Is this going to be a solid line that I draw or a dashed line? This is solid. Okay, I think on the practice quiz, they're all solid, aren't they? Tomorrow, for sure, there are some dashed ones, so pay attention. All right, if there's no equal to under it, make it a dashed line or a dashed parabola to get full credit, okay? So don't get in a hurry. Pay attention to those details. All right, so this one's solid. So let's see here. We'll get the blue going. Okay, so there's my line. Now, to make sure, most of you know if it's greater than, it's above, and if it's less than, it's below the line. But I always like to check to make sure. So I always use my test point as the origin, 0, 0. Only time I don't use 0, 0 is if my line goes through 0, 0. Then I pick like a 1, 0 or a 0, 1 or something like that. Something that's easy to work with. So when I use 0, 0 as a test point, that means I put 0 in for y and 0 in for x. And I get this statement. Because -4 times 0 is 0 plus 5 is 5. Is that a true or a false statement? That's a false statement. That's saying 0 is bigger than 5, but it's not, is it? So since 0, 0 doesn't work, all right, that I have to shade the other side. If 0, 0 works, that's the side I shade. But since it doesn't work, I shade the other side. So, why'd you do that? So all this would be shaded. That means any point I pick in the shaded area, if I plug it into the original problem, it's going to work. It's going to be a true statement. So the picture of the shaded area is all my answers. There's an infinite number of answers in these graphs. Okay? Questions? All right, number 4 then. Here's a parabola. It's got that x squared in it. It's a quadratic. Again, y is already by itself. So you can just go to your calculator, get your y equals, and put that in there. X squared minus 4x minus 5. And hit graph. And there it is. Okay? Now, we know we went through this by hand the other day. All right? We know at least this number is the what? That's the y-intercept, the c, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? If you want to go to you want to get some values to plot so you get it close at least. Hit second graph for table. 0, -1 works. I'm sorry, -1, 0 works. Here, I'll do this first so I can look at it. All right. 0, -5, 1, -8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, -9, and then it starts coming back up. So if you want to get really accurate, you could plot those looking at your table. Okay, solid or dash? We already said all these are solid, right? Because all of them had the equal 200. But tomorrow, I'm telling you, there's some dashed ones. There's not all equal to, all right? So, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but be close, all right? Now, same thing. Pick the test point, 0, 0, and put it in. I put 0 in for y, and 0 in for x. Man, this thing's jumping around on me. I get 0 is greater than or equal to -5. Is that true or false? That's true, right? So the 0, 0 is on the inside of my parabola, and it worked. That means I'm going to shade that inside area. Okay. Questions? Simple, right? The calculator will do it for you. You just got to figure out where to shade and make sure you're checking for solid or dashed lines. Now, when you have a system of inequalities, you graph both lines on the same XY axis, and then you see where the shaded areas overlap. Okay? So, this one's already got y by itself, so I'll do this one in blue here. And I'll do that first. So 1 is my y-intercept. And then what's my slope? 1 over 1. Right. If there's no number there, you can put 1 over 1. All right, so I go up 1 and over 1. Or down 1 and left 1. And again, it's solid. That's blue, so we'll do the blue line again. It's kind of thick, but that's all right. All right, and then we'll do a green one, or a red one. Let's do that. Make this one red. So I have to subtract 1 first. And remember, tomorrow, if you have to manipulate, you got to get y by itself. If you divide by a negative, what do you got to remember? Reverse your inequality symbol, right? All right, so -1 is our y-intercept here. And our slope is up 4 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we'll make that one red. See, I think I got a red line. Solid again. Kind of fat. It's so fat, it looks like it's hitting 0, 0, but it doesn't actually hit 0, 0. All right. So I'm picking 0, 0 for both. All right, 0 plus 1 is greater than or equal to 4 times 0, which says 1 is greater than or equal to 0. True or false? True. That's the red one. And again, it's not actually touching 0, 0, so I'm going to go towards the 0, 0. It's making me mad. So I'm going to go with this way. I just do an arrow to tell myself which side I'm going. And then for the blue one, 0 in for x and y. I get 0 is less than or equal to 1. True or false? True also. And it's above it, so I'm going to go towards the 0, 0. So where are those two going to overlap? See where the two arrows are pointing to each other? That's the area, right? So it'll be in here. This would be the right area. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Any questions? So we're looking for where the two overlap when you have two graphs, when you have a system of inequalities. Okay. And then we've got one that's got a line and a parabola. All right. So again, we'll go blue for this one this time. 6 is my y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, there's no number, so my slope is 1 over 1. Pass. Thanks. All right, again, these are solid because they have the lines under, but remember, check for dashed tomorrow because they're not all equal to. All right. 0 in for y. That means 0 is less than or equal to 6. True or false? True, right? Here's 0, 0. So I'm going to go towards it that way. All right, the parabola, just put in your calculator. Y equals 2x squared plus x minus 5. And again, minus 5 is our y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, but again, you can go second graph for a table of values. Let's go up a little bit here. I don't want to go up. I guess I want to go down a little more. Not very symmetrical, is it? Did I put that in right? 2x squared plus x minus 5. Okay. All right, so -1, -4. I should pull those out again, shouldn't I? All right, -1, -4, 0, -1, -2. Kind of hard to tell where the bottom is, huh? 2, 5. How about -2, 1? So the bottom's not at 0, -5. Let's look at the graph again so I get it halfway decent. It's just the bottom's a little to the right here. So it kind of goes like this. Okay. When I put 0 in, -5, sorry. That's all 0 to -5. Is 0 greater than or equal to -5? Yes. Which is the inside, right? So I'm going below the blue line and inside the parabola. So the highlighted or the overlapping is in there. Okay? Pretty easy, right? Okay. So just to review, doing it by hand, elimination. If you want to do the bonus. Bonus is going to be, you have to do it by hand. You can't use the calculator. All right, you can use the calculator to check after you do it, see if you got it right. But looking at this problem, which one do you want to eliminate? The x's, the y's, or the z's? Again, it's your choice. Z's would be easiest, wouldn't it? Because all the z's have the same number in front. So I'm going to not multiply, but put these two together. Signs of the z's are different. So what am I going to do to eliminate the z's? When the signs are different? Yeah. So x plus 3x is 4x. Negative 2y plus 1y is negative y. And the z's cancel. And negative 5 plus 9 is 4. All right. And then the z's again. So I'm going to do these two this time. And they're different. So I'm going to add those as well. 3 plus 2 is 5x. Y plus negative y. Oh, that canceled, didn't it? And the z's canceled. So I got 5x equals 10 because the y's and the z's canceled. So divide by 5. That makes it nice if that works out. So I got my x value. To figure out my y value, I would just put my 2 right there. So I'm going to go 4 times 2 minus y equals 4. That's an 8. So I'm going to subtract 8 over. And get y, or negative y, equals negative 4. So what's y equal? Positive 4, right? Y. So we got 2 of them. And then you just pick one of them to fill in to get the last one. I think I'll do, since I'm looking for z, and this one is the positive z, I'm going to do the middle one. That way I don't have to do any dividing by negative 1. All right, so 3 times 2 for x plus 4 for y plus z equals 9. So 6 plus 4 would be 10. Subtract the 10. And you get z is negative 1. So if you want to do that tomorrow for your bonus to try to get 5 bonus points, to get a 35 out of 30, you can. Again, you don't have to do that one. All right, any questions? Pretty easy quiz, right? All right. Thanks for paying attention.